Hey everybody, we have been delayed today, so my apologies. It's definitely been a kind of a crazy day here on the homestead and just in life in general. Sundays are usually the days where we do a lot of organizing of ourselves and get ourselves situated. We try not to plan a lot of trips or things, but sadly that doesn't always work, isn't always the case. So we actually had to make a last minute trip to Wally World, Walmart, after they had been running a deal on a toolbox thing, and we went and got it and had to wait for it to come in stock and got it home. And as I was putting it together, I was really excited. Hey, I hope you are doing well. I hope you all are having a good Sunday. Which one is it? Oh, spouse or husband or the Waltermans? But it's good to hear from you guys. I hope you all are doing well. Hi, Megan. I figured it was, but I wasn't. It's been crazy over here. We actually just got back. How are things going? I hope things are going well for you guys. I hope the horse and everything going on with that. We haven't really had a chance to touch base since we went and picked up roosters from you guys, which the roosters are doing very well. Well, one of the roosters is. The rest of them were picked off by predators, but that's part of life on free ranging. So, but this last week was a busy week. We went on and posted some videos. We were going to do a harvest of our chickens, turkeys, and geese this last week on Friday, but that's actually been delayed to next week. And
hi,
Megan's on too. There's the cutest baby ever. I don't care if you think otherwise.
Giving them marine history a hard stand.
She's pretty
on the
adorable.
wall.
She's oh. She's pretty cute. Like, I gotta say, like she's a good baby. And she was so well behaved for our trip. When we were out of town or had to go run, we actually ate out, which we don't too often, but it was good. And then she was so well behaved in Wally World.
Yeah, I slept through Wally World. You gotta sleep to get through that heck hole.
Ooh, the gassy baby. She also is the gassiest baby on this planet.
Parts like a trucker.
She's well suited for the Marine Corps with the amount of gas she puts out. But that's neither here nor there. So we've things going on in our homestead. Our pigs. We're waiting for the processing date to be finalized next December. So this should be the last week of the last month for our pigs are ready for processing. Like I said, this coming Saturday, we will be processing a number of birds on our property, chickens, geese, turkeys, ducks, and we actually have a friend of the family, a friend of Providence Homestead will be out with us, and they'll be bringing birds, and we usually process together. So I don't know what you all do with your processing, Megan. I'm assuming you all have, of course, I don't, you all did what, 10 birds? I think 10 to 15. That's usually, I don't know if you just butchered them one at a time or just set across the day. So we try to set it all up and go butchering where we just take it a day out of it. And we're probably going to process 40 or 50 birds this Saturday, so it's going to be a little crazy. We are going to take video, so we will have some video up from that date, but most of it will post Sunday or Monday, where I'll have time to edit them and create them. One of the big things, after I post this, I'll go back and edit, and I'll add some of the video discussions that are going on. If you saw, we actually are posting a series of videos over carpentry and apprenticeship, as I am an apprentice carpenter. Had some questions about that. 40 birds. Yes. 40 birds this year. Is that all? Would you raise them? Did you raise all at once, or did you do your birds? Was it 40 split 3 times, or we try to do 3? I think this year we did 2. 2 flocks of bird butchering birds. 40 birds, good, but 57 in one day, 2 rounds 20. That really, to me, 20 is pretty manageable. You can kind of get that done. You get that done at your own pace. To me, 20 is kind of the perfect number. We'll definitely be doing a lot of birds. And this year we did, this last time we had some people who are actually coming out and will be butchering their birds again with them. But last time we were able to show them and they did contribute. So we're hoping to have some more hands involved in the processing. So we'll definitely put our plucker to work because those things are worth their weight in gold. Hi, Conrad Homestead. Well, glad you found it. I am way late today, and the Marina Me hates being late. So forgive the. My goal was to ignore this phone call. I normally never have my phone set to ring. We normally, just the way the morning goes. I woke up this morning, felt like we had a day ahead of us, and was like, I'll just do it at 2, and just really threw a dart on the board, and then I had to go run all over the place. So glad to see you. Where are you? Where are you at, Conrad? Where are you guys located at? Where's your homestead? I know South Central. All right, that's close. That's close. I know the Waltermans are about
an hour.
What are you, about an hour from us? An hour north of us?
Yeah,
north-ish of us. It's always good to see them. Glasgow. I've driven around that area. We're southern Indiana, Memphis, outside of Memphis, Indiana. So we're about 20 minutes north of Louisville. So, that's the #1 trademark for this area, good old Louisville. We have we have about 4 1/8 of an acre. So, if you saw our videos, we do turkeys, chickens, we're raising pigs. We're staying pretty busy. We'll be doing our harvesting this year, this coming Saturday.
Shannon Miller lives down in Glasgow.
Ah, Shannon, we have a friend of the family that's
one of my best friends growing up in South Florida, lives in Glasgow, Kentucky, and moved up here just a bit before I moved up here to Indiana.
Yeah, my wife is from Florida, even though she sounds like she's from hardcore Alabama. It's actually great when my wife's accent gets rolling. I love it more than she does.
I don't notice it.
I don't notice it. None, not one bit. But we during trades videos this week, I did a couple. Actually, this was the last 2 weeks where we talked about a farm jack that I just posted, a nut gatherer, because we're finishing our pigs and actually need to go do some gathering of nuts for our pigs today. Sundays are for days of rest. We usually don't do that much. Last November. From Arizona. A little different.
All of us warm climate people apparently want seasons.
That is true. You are definitely going to get more seasons from Arizona. When I was stationed in the Marine Corps, I spent some time out west. And I've been through Arizona a time or two. We have some family in Arizona. I like Arizona. There's something to be said for the fact that
too dry.
Like it's a desert. So you kind of, once you come to terms with the desert, it's actually pretty nice. I enjoy it.
No, I know humidity. Too dry for me.
We've been out here. I've been out here pretty much since I got out of the Marine Corps in 2014. We started homesteading
I moved up here
last year. So my wife had did some homesteading before in Florida, and then she roped me into it. And it's been great and wonderful. So no, they don't. I've seen people talk about there's channels we support, and it was very, very hard, obviously, to grow anything, but then also to raise anything. We raise meat rabbits, and I've heard it's just really, really tough with the heat. So I like to visit the desert. I think the desert's beautiful. If you've ever been involved in a rain shower in the desert, it's one of the most transcendent moments of life. I will always remember being in 29 Palms and doing desert exercises and having a sudden rainstorm come on. And it was incredible to watch like waters spring from the desert and chase you down the street. Yeah, we have 3 does and a buck. We have Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Jolene, and Reba. And Reba, Jolene just had
6 babies.
6 babies. She just
On
had 6
Friday.
6 kits.
6 kids.
Feels weird to call them a kit because I feel like Knight Rider. But really, I honestly think
We bred all
Yes.
3 on the same
Yes, it
day,
is.
but only 1 has given birth. And so
Well, we're
weird
thinking
that neither
we'll
none of the
probably.
others
I
took,
feel like
but
we'll probably do another, and then next weekend when we're doing the butchering, we take a break. We'll probably rebreed those 2 because it'll have been long enough where they should have delivered by then. So, and they're good size. So I mean, they've gotten bigger in the last month, as you would expect. So I'm really surprised they're not even doing nesting activities. So we're not sure, but Jolene has taken and she's doing great.
first time mama.
Still haven't taken any pictures. I'm terrible at this whole YouTube thing. This social media thing, I'm garbage at,
It's better than me.
which social media is garbage anyway. But yeah, Monsoon Rain in the Desert is a spiritual experience. It is an incredible experience. And it's one of those things, cliche, but it's true. Excuse me. Yeah, we did a farm jack video. We've done a nut gathering video. It's hard to keep track of what videos I put up, to be brutally honest. It's been that kind of crazy day, running in circles. I know we'll be putting up another trades video this week, looking at what the process of becoming a carpenter. I've kind of put some of my attention towards that because I just picked up apprentice carpentry and know there wasn't a whole lot of resources for me when I wanted to make that decision. So that's what I'm doing. But I don't want people to think I'm abandoning the homesteading. Homesteading is our passion. Carpentry pays the bills and is another outlet of my passion, but I do love homesteading. We didn't have issues. I read your post, everything about the issue with the bunnies. And while we didn't have issues with our bunnies, we've only we had one of our does died in labor, and that was tragic. That was technically, when I say Dolly Parton, it's Dolly Parton 2 because Dolly Parton 1 died in childbirth. But we've generally had good luck with rabbits. When I think about like your post, reading yours is one of the things that happened to us last year. Is we've really wanted to become turkeys and raise turkeys on our homestead, and we do have 2 turkeys we will be butchering. One is an offspring of a breeding pair that we had, and then the other is the mother from another breeding pair. But we have absolutely been terrible luck at raising turkeys. We were going to try to get into breeding and raising our own and doing feeders and breeding turkeys. Honestly, turkeys have shown themselves to be our Achilles heel. So we plan on doing turkeys next year and actually just order them, raise them still. I mean, we still want to raise our own food, but we're not going to try the breeding and everything. Have you raised pigs? I know you raised rabbits. No pigs. I will be honest. I love our pigs. Our pigs may be my favorite animals to raise on the homestead. Chickens are the easiest. Now sheep. I've been trying to talk my wife into us raising sheep.
No.
My wife is adamant. That's how strong my wife feels. My wife doesn't tell me outright no very often. But with sheep, she's definitely not a sheep fan. But we're still going to be adapting the homestead as well. We've been homesteading for about a year and some change on this property. So we've done a lot of adaptation, a lot of modeling, a lot of learning, and then stealing what other people know and borrowing it and reapplying it. Really, that's the secret to homesteading, in my opinion. We've got our little orchard. We had that late frost that pretty much killed us. 90-ish chickens. We had 48. We have 48 chickens, and we'll probably be butchering half of them. We'll take our flock size down to about 20 for the winter. We got a lot of roosters that came out of our barnyards this year. So they're not going to be, they don't have long for this earth. They'll have another week, and then we will cut them down. Most of the hens we generally keep. There are a couple, when we remove all the roosters, and probably 10 of the older hens that are about done laying, we should be down to a much more manageable flock size. 50 is just a little too much for us for where we're at. We're not really actively, we sell eggs, but we don't actively sell eggs. You know, it's one where you come by our house, we'll talk to you. If we get the chance, we'll sell you eggs, but it's not the same as, it's not the same as actively having a business moving really. So, man, a plucker changes your life. We love our plucker. It makes life.
We were lucky we bought ours.
We bought ours just as last year, and it is probably, I think the price is 2.5 times now. Now everything homesteading has just gotten much more expensive. But man, and I'll be honest, I've seen people, the Waltermans, Megan, the Waltermans built their own plucker. And I don't know if they've done a video about how, like what their process was. But I would, that Walterman homestead, which is at the first part of this, this live video, they built their own plucker. And I've seen some online things for people building pluckers, to be honest. I like to know kind of, you know, the people of what I'm doing. And if I was going to build one, I would talk to them, because they would definitely be able to guide me on what they did well, what they learned. And sometimes I'm a monkey see, monkey do kind of human being. And I really need to be able to touch base with someone to see how they're doing what they're doing. So, but I highly recommend the Waltermans. They will be able to walk you through how to set up a plucker and what they did. And they're just great people, by the way. Brett Cunningham. See, well, we might bumped into it. I don't know the name. I might have. I feel like I've interacted with just about everybody. But I grew up in Oldham County, Crestwood, Kentucky. So I'm not from this area. And I promise, yeah, if really, when it comes down to building your own, I don't know if the Waltermans have done a video over how to build one. I'd be surprised if they hadn't. I like to think I'm handy and I'm okay. Walterman, he's a handy man. Like he can do a lot of great stuff. So he's definitely someone to pay attention to, and he's just a good human being. So he knows his stuff. Kind of as we get ready, well, hopefully, like I said, the big thing for us is just waiting for the processors to open up. We have had now all the processors are overrun. This is the first year we raised pigs. And we got our pigs in March. And honestly, I built a couple chicken tractors. And I honestly like our chicken tractors. The first one was too big. And if you looked at my videos, you'll see like the first one I made is huge. And I don't mean huge like it's size-wise. It's just unmanageable bulky. I made it out of 2x4s. I made a 4 foot by 8 foot by 4 foot. So it's 8 foot long, 4 feet wide, 4 feet tall out of 2x4s tractor, which still stands, but it's just too big. It can last year we did our meat birds. It can fit about 20 meat birds, and it gets just too compacted in there. Yeah, we honestly free range ours, and then for our meat birds this year we set up a separate. After we had them in one of our chicken tractors, because I built a couple smaller chicken tractors. I've got 2 small ones, and one of them is more of like a rabbit size, to be brutally honest. And then when they were big enough that they didn't really fit in there, we actually put them on a specific pasture piece of land that we had enclosed and just rotated them through that. What birds are you all using for your meat birds? Are you just using Cornishes? Yeah, I definitely, doing it again would definitely make it out of 1x3s. Or I've got a table saw now, so I'll just rip 2x4s in half and do it that way. I just was, inexperienced. Cornishes. We did Cornishes, and our issue with Cornishes, and nothing against Cornish cross as a breed.
Oh, I got a lot against Cornish cross as a breed.
We didn't like them, to be honest. They are just messy, foul birds.
But that's so nice.
We were not a big fan of the way that they lived while they were alive.
They're nasty mofos.
So we did the Freedom Rangers, the Red Rangers, there's different variations of them. Honestly, when we butchered birds this last butchering fest, which we didn't get any pictures because our friend was supposed to do it. When we did those, the fat content on the Red Rangers was better than the Cornishes. That being said, we did raise a couple. They did clean easier, and they did strip the land a lot better. The Red Rangers were definitely much better foragers, and that makes a difference for us because we had them on the ground. So, but 60 birds, that is, you said you have 3 tractors, 20 tractors a piece. What's the dimensions of your, as you should.
The Cornish cross are
show it
just
who's
nasty.
boss.
They just are always filthy when it comes to. They just you put their water at one end if you've got them in something or in the tractor, and the food in the air just to make a move. Even adding the bird minerals, I forget what it's called, from Fertrell, like Salatin recommended. They didn't fight, but they were still nasty and dirty and lazy.
9x9.
And give me a Ranger breed any day.
What is it? 9x9 by what? 2 feet tall? Probably by 2 feet, I'm assuming. Maybe, I think 3 feet probably a little too tall. But 9x9 is a good size. Like 4x8, nah, it's too thin. 30 birds, that's 9x9 is good. 18, put it in there. What'd you, 8 weeks, butcher them at 9? $24 high, that's good. No, we definitely weren't. Yeah, we definitely were not giant fans of the Cornishes, and we don't plan on raising them again. We'll keep to our Freedom Rangers. Really, we're just doing our best to expand and get these turkeys to have a successful turkey thing. Though technically this year we did raise our own Thanksgiving turkey. We've got a Christmas goose. There's another one that we were going to get in.
The coop door flew shut. We'll go open it.
Okay. But we will, we'll definitely, I think next year is yeah. Yeah, that would be, the price of pluckers is so high right now. It is ridiculous. When do you, let's see. So you did 30 butchers. When did you butcher? Went out to 11 weeks. Huh. Wow. 11 weeks. They were huge. Did you lose any heart attacks? Just come out and have them drop dead on you? 11 weeks is. I know that we had a predator get 2 of our Cornishes or 2 of our Red Freedom Rangers 3 days before we butchered. That's insult to injury. So, but we've lost, I know we lost a rooster. Nice. Well, that's smart. That is smart. We free range ours. Everything in ours will actually, with the meat birds this coming year, we're changing the layout of our garden. And we did out of Eden style or back to Eden style. I forget what the nomenclature of the gardening style is. That's smart. What we will do this coming year when we set up our garden space, because I have took down our garden fence and we'll redo it because we're going to do more of a raised garden bed style. I know we're gonna set up an enclosed space next to the garden that we will raise our meat birds in, and much easier for us to accommodate. It's kind of a stealing off of the roads idea, so that you've got those chickens close to the garden fence. Yeah, we do the wood mulching, and I'm definitely not opposed to it. I think it has been amazing to watch what it has done to our ground. Our ground is definitely recuperating in the areas that it was, because we have that crap soil, that Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio Valley turns to clay, garbage soil. So I think the bigger issue to me was we're trying to find a way to organize our space. And we're probably going to do a back to Eden raised garden bed style, incorporating the two together just to make more functional space for us. So yeah, clay's garbage. We have such bad soil in Kentucky. If more people need to do regenerative agriculture just because, In fact, one of the things that's amazing that I didn't even notate in one of my videos where I was talking about planting a tree in our baby orchard we have was if you watch the soil quality, it's actually, you get a couple, like at least 5 or 6 inches of good soil, and then you get to the clay below it. So it's definitely doing a lot of work. We have 4 acres, 4 1/8. And we have a very small, like we've got 7 trees in our little orchard area by our driveway. We've got our pigs in a pasture that we rotate them through in the back of the yard. And then we've had our turkeys and geese in one other enclosure. And then we've got that garden space that we've changed. So it's definitely been a, how much space do you guys have? 4 is just enough for us. We'd like to have more just because we really, we're kind of going back and forth on when it came down to a ruminant, adding either a Jersey cow to it, so that we could get milk and a meat source as well. But so 4 1/8 isn't really enough to do that, in our opinion, nor do I really think anyone would recommend it on that size property. Just not enough land. So we'd like to have more just so that we could have that option. But we're all, we're figuring out as we go along. So 8 acres is nice too. So that's enough space. I think when we brainstorm and talk about what is a manageable amount for us, because it's just us. We do have a 17-year-old son, but he's preparing to finish high school and get moving, and we have a small baby. Like what would be the perfect size property for us? Even if we were to have like 100 acres, you can really only do so much with 2 people. So you really I think for us, the perfect size would be like 10 to 12. That would be enough where we could rotate and leave pasture spaces rotated through, because we really do practice regenerative agriculture. But that would be more of what we do. Let's see. I think we're kind of at that. There's definitely, it's not as hard to find open land, especially if you're willing to work on it. If it needs some love and you're willing to give it that love and work, then this is a good situation, and I think that's part of being a homesteader is to recognition that you have to be willing to learn, that there's so much generational knowledge that was passed down for the whole of human history, and it's gone now. Yes, we do permaculture, regenerative agriculture. I always say like the patron saint of permaculture in the United States is Joel Salatin. He was one of our inspirations. That was, we do want to leave the land better than we found it and increase the quality of the soil. That's huge for us. We see that, the United Nations, everyone likes to talk about the climate change from the United Nations reports, but no one wants to talk about the fact that same report that talks about climate change also talks about the fact that we have 50 harvests left before the soil will no longer have the quality enough for us to be at a harvest as a human species. And doesn't raise any no warning bells. Like this is insane that people aren't concerned and worried about the fact that we are approaching the point where our soil quality will be so low that we will be unable to harvest our own food, and at this large scale, obviously, that we've been doing. And in the end, a lot of people are too busy saying you can't feed the world the way that we work through this. But the reality is, the world's going to catch on real quick in about 50 years. That this is the only way when nothing else can grow this way. Was it for every bushel of corn we're losing a foot of soil? Like that's ridiculous. I think an inch of soil. I think a foot's overstatement. These are all realities. Yeah, no, yeah, he definitely, he's got a garden space, and I think that's one thing where like, and I did enjoy. I forget who said it, but there's growers and raisers, and I am definitely my wife is managed our garden. I am not a gardener. I'm the raiser, and I think I have seen some people do produce. I think the tough. There you go. I think apparently I just copy them without even meaning to. I think the tough part about raising produce is just doing it at a scale that is how do you manage the physical requirements? Raising animals is easy. Honestly, the animal wants to live. So you do your part to encourage the health of the animal, and the animal wants to live, and the animal takes care of itself in a lot of different ways. I feel like a lot of animal raising is prep, where gardening, once again, because it isn't a native strength of mine, it isn't something that I just get. If I planted 100 seeds, I'd be lucky to probably get 10 plants out of it. I just don't have the touch. So there's biomechanics there that I don't understand. There's soil quality I don't understand. So yes. Well, part of that too is if we quit growing corn and soy and we went back to, because part of the issue of it, when you grow everything at these monolithic levels and you've got these monocrops where you're growing hundreds of acres and you're growing one crop, like it's just ridiculous. You cannot have a healthy plant under those circumstances. It's too easily led. Blight kills off too much of it. It's just not how Mother Nature ever had it. Mother Nature never grows in that large of a scale. Mother Nature is diverse because Mother Nature is cruel. Mother Nature's a wonderful, abundant giver, but she's also a harsh teacher. I would say life is the hardest teacher. It gives the test before the lessons, and Mother Nature is much the same. But when you learn to work with Mother Nature, you realize how much abundance there is. I was talking to one of my friends about how, raising animals and food for yourself from Mother Nature isn't as difficult. I mean, it does require upkeep and work, but the bigger issue that comes into is when you try to curb Mother Nature to you, when you try to raise a market for a consumer and you try to make Mother Nature do what you want it to do. That's really, really tough. Mother Nature, she has her own plans and her own way of doing things, and you got to work with her and coach her into blessings. And Mother Nature, gardening is tough. I appreciate the fact that our garden was very neglected this year. Our garden was my wife was pregnant towards summer. That's just not good way to get the garden in place. It's not my area of expertise. So we had a very neglected garden this year. But we still grew a lot of produce for our pigs. I mean, what we didn't eat, our pigs did. So it still wound up being a blessing. And I think that's part of the understanding when you start working within nature, is you start realizing the bounty of blessings that occur, and how that works. So that's pretty incredible to realize that Mother Nature is self-sustaining. When we work within nature, it is self-sustaining. We don't have to go and try to make something sustainable when we do it the way Mother Nature's been doing it. Utilization of ruminants in the proper manners. So, but I mean, that's part of life. That's homesteading. It's learning. It's figuring these things out. So, been a long day. I had to go run up to Walmart today. Oh, I do not like going up to Walmart. Let's see, had to get some more feed. Always a good Rural King loves us. Rural King's where we buy the bulk of our feed from. Who do you buy your chicken feed from? Do you buy it from like a Rural King or a Tractor Supply, or do you go through a wholesale? Honestly, Rural King has been the best, partly being, and also for our pig feed was we were originally going through another local mill, and honestly, we weren't getting great stuff, and we were paying a lot for it. And sad, because we were trying to avoid box stores. We don't like going to Walmart. We don't like going to Rural King, Tractor Supply. We tried to go through a mill, and we were only able to get a lot of soy products. We weren't able to get good quality feed at a price that that was functional for us. It was almost $5 more per pound for what the mill was sending us than Tractor Supply, than Rural King. And at least Rural King didn't have medicated feeds and everything. So we wound up going with Rural King. We're always still on the lookout for a mill. We'd like to be able to be. Plus, we had an issue with Rural King and their supply of pig feed throughout this year. At one point, their supply dried up for the summer. Of course, this has not been a normal summer, and I imagine everybody's buying pigs, so everybody's buying feed maybe. But it was pretty much a mess. I bought a lot of pig feed at once when they finally had it in stock, and that got me through to just about now. So I probably bought 6 months of pig feed at once from Rural King without any kind of bulk discount in order to be prepared. So, but we are getting ready for the rest of the day. I usually give myself about a half an hour for these things. I've enjoyed the conversation a lot. Conrad, sounds weird to call you Conrad, but it is an absolute. It was a lot of feed, but it was worth it. I mean, we bought those big 50-gallon or 100-gallon blue barrels. We have a resource for them, and we just stuffed them full. I've got some videos I'll have to put up of them, but we put feed in there, and it'll hold. We had 2 of those, so completely full. So, but I'm going to get out of here and get on with the rest of my Sunday. I still got to prepare for the coming week. I do my 9 to 5 that supports my homesteading. Paul Conrad. Okay, why does that sound familiar? Were you at the Stivers harvest thing, I think, last year? If not, did you go to the last year's Homesteaders of America conference in Virginia? Well, I look forward to bumping into you. We are going to we were this year going to work with another homestead to do a harvest celebration and kind of try to get people from this area together. So I'll reach out to you. Look for us on Facebook, Bumbling Acres. Maybe we saw you last year. The name sounds really familiar. Of course, everybody was at HOA last year, so we weren't even pregnant, I think, by then. But I'll be. I'm going to let you go. You have a great rest of the day. It was a pleasure. We're on Bumbling Acres on Facebook. I don't have a personal Facebook anymore. I got off social media. Actually, my personal one is only there so I can get on my Facebook channel for Bumbling Acres. So send us a friend request or like our channel, and let's stay in communications because I'm enjoying our conversations. So you have a great rest of your day. It was an absolute pleasure. I'll edit some of this video and post it. Once again, Megan, it was always good to see Megan. And Paul, don't forget to reach out to Megan and them about how they made their own plucker. So have a great day. Bye.